Hello YouTubers. Well, I am back here once again working on this Husqvarna 357 XP part saw in a box. Kind of having to do a little bit of backtrack here. Nothing major. What I'm working on here is swapping out the fuel line. As you know, in the last video, I pretty much got everything all together. I did go ahead and fire this saw up off camera. I had mentioned I didn't have a muffler. No, I didn't have a muffler. I just wanted to see if it would fire off. It did pull fuel, and it did after 5 or 6 cranks. It did fire up, being completely dry. But I noticed there was seemed to be a funky runability issue, as it was like it was running out of fuel. When I put fuel in it, I noticed the fuel line looked awfully short. Now, it does have one of these slinky fuel lines, but I do not think this is a Husqvarna original. This is one of these Chinese copy import hoses, because it feels kind of weird. Not mushy, not rotten, but just way too short. The fuel filter was up about 1.5 inches off the bottom of the fuel tank. So unless you had a right full tank of fuel, every time you're going to try and run it like this, you're going to have issues with sucking fumes and air, basically, or your filter is not going to make it to the bottom, or mostly to the bottom of the tank, if it's hanging up in the air. And what would happen is, it doesn't look too bad now, but when the gas would hit it, it would actually curl up real tight like this and make some kind of a funky pigtail in there, almost like a knot. So definitely not an OEM line. Now, unfortunately, I do not have a new one. I thought I did, but I do not. So what I did was just go and find another wreck saw, and I pulled an OEM line out of that one. Not something that I would recommend, but I want to get this thing up and going, and before the next time I head into town and go to the dealer and see if he's got, well, so anyways, I, like I say, went ahead and pulled the line out of another tank. Way longer than that one, so anyways, you can see here I already have trim the end at an angle like you're supposed to do to get them started. I have a little one of these little hemostat whatchamacallem grabbers there, but I don't know if it's long enough. This is all I got, is a short one. I think it might be long enough. Ooh boy. See if I can get a hold of it. I might have to pause the camera here and do this. I got one that's a bent nose, and I got one that's a straight nose. I'm gonna try and get in here with a straight nose and see if I can just grab the end of that. My little flashlight here. I'm trying to. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna stick that against the tank. There we go. These tanks are semi-translucent, so you can, if you put light to them, you can definitely. There we go. Caught the end of it. And you can see I'm pulling the line in through the tank. Now I have to leave enough here, because I got to feed back up here under the handle. This is something that I should have looked a little bit closer. I had the tank and everything, the handle off the saw. It would have been easy to do it then. But unfortunately, didn't even think of it. Kind of, I wouldn't say got ahead of myself, but well, anyways. Now what I did is, with these fuel lines, what will happen is, where they feed through the tank, the wall or the body of the tank, what will happen most times over when they've been used for a while, they kind of get like a memory or a wear spot in them. So what I did was, I literally took and flipped the line around and put that little bit of a, it's not a wear spot, it's just well, what they call memory in the line. So anyways, I just took and put that end down in the tank. It won't matter. I checked the line. It doesn't have any pinholes or anything. It's good. But I have to feed it back up here through into the carb, what they call the tray, or the carb, through the tray or the carb box here. So once again, I'll use my other little grabber here. Get a hold of the end if I can, and pull it up into the. There we go, just like that. Yeah, and then go ahead and pull any of the excess back into the tank. Got to get them adjusted to where they're just right, and then I'll stick it onto the back onto the barb of the carb here, of course. I can do this with my fingers, and technically I should be doing it with a small pair of needle nose pliers here. That would probably be the best. Sometimes you just can't get into these tight spots with your fingers, so no shame in using a tool. Oh, come on. For some reason or other, this is going to give me a hard time. And you got to be careful. You don't have sharp tools with this kind of thing. You don't want to puncture or rupture lines or anything like that. There we go. Just best if you can put it on with your fingers, but sometimes you can't. And here it's right up against different little brackets and parts and bits of the saw body and whatever, and you can't always get in there. So we'll just there we go. For some reason or other, this thing is fighting me tooth and nail. Get it on there. There we go. Now this line isn't horrible by any means. It's not all dry and hard or anything like that. Just got to make sure they got enough slack. I'm not don't want your fuel line kinked, but or rubbing anywheres excessively. Gotta make sure you have a little bit of slack for your anti-vibe and movement in the saw body. That does happen and will contribute. There we go. Got to make sure it clears everything. Like I say, no excessive pressure or rub points or anything. I'm just double checking, make sure everything is good, and there we go. We still have we got lots of line here sticking out of the tank. With the other hose there, it was literally right at the mouth of the tank here, and like I say, with that when the gas would hit, it would all curl up and then suck itself up into the air, so it was hanging the filter way up, so no good, can't have that. I don't have a pair of side cutters here, so I'll just use you just trim these lines at like a 45-degree angle to feed them in through the tank hole to get them started. Once they're started, you can get just the tip of them through. Then you can just go ahead and retrim the end here. And then there was a brand new fuel filter in it already. So, yeah, this line is... they got a different... Wrong type of fuel filter. It's got a big end on it. It's for a different... yeah, see, I'm gonna have to go. Hang on, I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna go find. I do have spare fuel filters here. Okay, I went and found another new fuel filter I have here, but I definitely know that this other filter is one of those weird aftermarket Chinese filters. This is an OEM filter that I have here that I got from my dealer. It was in a package here, some spares that I have. This thing, I don't know what that is. It's for possibly a bigger or a different saw unit, but definitely won't work on here. So like I say, they're a pretty snug fit when you get them on here. So anyways, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Plenty of fuel hose comes right down in the tank, and the filter's laying on the bottom of the tank here already. So yeah, see, that's a proper fit how it should be. Now, while I'm at it, we're talking about tanks here. This saw, somebody swapped out the caps on it for these. What they had on here was actually a newer style, better cap, but they went ahead and used one of these old style, early generation Husqvarna caps, and it's leaking like a sieve on here. So I'm not going to be reusing this cap. I do not like this. They had this style of cap. They had just a single O-ring here around the outside edge. The newer caps had an o-ring that came here under kind of an overall. It came over the side and down underneath the bottom. It was kind of like a two-sided lip seal type of o-ring. Not an o-ring, but a sealing gasket, and those were good caps. These caps, I could really care less about them. I've chucked plenty of these because I just don't like them. But seeing that I'm going to invest all this time and effort into this saw, I figured I went ahead and picked up something that some of you may not know. For those of you that already do, you can use the newer style Husqvarna caps, these flip type caps here that are like on the 562s and 550s and all those saws. They actually are interchangeable, and they do work on all the older Husqvarna and Johnson Red saws. You can use them. Fuel tanks, and on these 357s and the 359s, it's the same cap for the fuel and oil. I'm going to go ahead and use this flip style cap. They're a really nice cap. I like them. I have them on a couple of my auto tune saws, and yeah, just like that. They screw in just like all the other Husqvarna caps, but actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. These caps use these O-rings just like the other ones. They come over the side and down around in the bottom here, underneath. So they're a positive seal both from the side and from underneath. So they seal on the side of the tank and the bottom lip edge of the tank. So they work very nice. So there we go, just like that. And fuel lines changed, new fuel filter, and a new fuel cap. I had wanted to get two of these caps because the same deal here on the oil tank. Somebody went and put one of these old style Husqvarna caps on here, and this leaks as well. So I'm going to be changing that out. But unfortunately, my dealer didn't have two of these flip caps, only had one in stock at the time. They went ahead and ordered me another one, so that'll be in one of these days when I go to town. So in the meantime, I've got for the fuel tank, but I will swap out the oil tank and I'll have a match set of new caps. So there we go. We got that fixed. Like I say, a little step back there in the progress, but nothing to get too excited about.